think it's only fitting to start this episode off just with a big, deep sigh, because, oh man.
Oh, you are teeing this up so good. Enzo, to me, looks like a more agile, basically a young Chess Fabregas.
It's a Rolls Royce, man. Gotta sell it.
Messi is the Jorginho of international football. That was a dumb take.
The flag stays down!
Welcome to Season 3 of the Flag Stays Down podcast, the season preview edition. Oh, boys. So ready for Season 3 here. We don't talk about 3. Terrible sponsor. We don't even go with the sponsor anymore. So we'll just call it season. I got nothing. I had something that I didn't. But anyways, you got me, Andy. You got Parker. You got Matt. We'll start with Matt tonight. Matt, how you doing?
Doing good. Been an eventful day. I was working from home today. My parents came over to babysit little man, and then Molly's sister is here for the weekend. So kind of a whirlwind of people kind of in and out of the house today. But yeah, made some brats on the grill for dinner, and yeah, we're here on a very impromptu night of potting. Parks,
Might be our first Friday night pod, I think, unless there was an emergency pod one of those days. But I am good. I'm a little hurt. My soul was hurt a little bit this week just because I was in Chicago on Wednesday night and Chelsea was there, and I was not able to go to the game because I was there for work. And so it to be so close and yet so far away was hard for me. It didn't work out. There was like a glimmer of hope that it could have worked out, and it didn't happen. So tough to not get to watch the boys play in their final preseason, but the preseason kind of came and went in a nice little fury, and now it's all eyes towards Liverpool. So fun time of year, boys, and because it's a bit of a special night. It's Friday night. It's a fun night. I broke out the good stuff, so I got a little bit of Johnny Walker Blue tonight in the glass. And what's funny is you guys know. I've tried to cut down on the drinking, especially in the house, because I go out for work a lot, and it kind of catches up and just gets to be a lot. So this is the first bit of alcohol consumed in the house from either Carolyn or myself. I've been in the house about a month, and this is the first drops of the good stuff being consumed. So proud of that. And yeah, if you're going to drink something, might as well make it good and fun. So cheers to you, boys. Cheers to the season, and kick it to you, Collins.
Yeah, cheers, absolutely. Johnny Walker Blue is the color, football is the game. Parker, I was sad. Didn't get a chance to connect. We were down in Chicago for the game, and this week has just been for me a whirlwind. It's my first in-person Chelsea game. It's not Stamford Bridge. It's not, a Premier League game, but, I already told you guys the story in the group chat a little bit, but, Aiden and I got there about an hour early with the Milwaukee Blues, and we were sitting in the seats, and all of a sudden, Todd Bowley's walking on the field. I was like, oh, I know him, Todd Bowley. And then Dortmund comes out and they start warming up. And I've been to, probably 24 Madison games at this point. So I'm used to watching warm-ups and all that. But then Chelsea comes out of the tunnel, and I'm pointing out to Aiden, and this is also his first game. Oh, look, there's Reece James. There's Ben Chilwell. Look at Kepa and Gaga warming up. And all of a sudden, dude, it hit me flood of emotions all at once. Like, oh, this is the team that we talk about every single week, that we watch, that we invest so much in every single week, and they're 20 yards from me right now. Literal tears in my eyes, which Aiden then called me out for, and that was the end of that. But no, it was a blast. And I told Aiden to remember that game because Mason Burstow, he's a bit raw now, but he's a talent, and we got to see his first ever goal for Chelsea. So definitely one for the memory banks there. Then yeah, ever since I've been waiting to pod with you guys. I'm ready for the season to go. So
When's your Mason Burstow jersey coming in the mail?
Logistics issues and inflation, and the sun was in my eyes. We'll see.
And the fact that you can't buy a jersey.
You would be shocked how many people in that stadium were wearing that jersey. Not Mason Burstow, but this year's home kit. I kind of wanted to ask somebody where they got it, because you can't get it from Chelsea. So I have no idea.
It's a collector's item.
Yeah, and I'm still not sold on it. It looks okay in person, but that stupid reflective crest I can do without. That thing bugs me every time I see it. Something Matt would buy.
To be fair, I actually have a pair of Jordans that would work really well with that. So I can get behind that.
But Collins, you brought up a good point. We don't have to belabor this. It's just like when they have the second kit or third kit and they mess with the crest and like kind of they black it all out, or they do a colorway of it. I think it's cool. But like this crest and the same one that Matt has on his jersey, right? Like, don't mess with it. It is our crest. It is who we are, and it's perfect. You don't have to color wash it or put it in some fancy font. So I'm a little disappointed in that choice.
All right. Well, speaking of disappointment, boys, it's our season preview show. So we're gonna go through. We're not gonna so much touch on the Liverpool game coming up, because Matt and I were talking with friend of the pod Joe about Liverpool, and he doesn't even know who's on that team. They've been kind of obscure this offseason. We've got a bunch of guys who are 21 and younger on our squad, so no one knows who's on our team. It's a crapshoot how this first week is going to go, but we're going to try to predict this season. Maybe we'll put a point system to it at the end of the season, and we'll do maybe one of our usual bottle bets. Sound fair?
Perfect.
Works for me.
Right. Well, I think the place to start is where we're going to finish in the league. Last year, let's see, was it Matt who was so down on the team, said we'd finish 6th, and that was the lowest out of the three of us. Ended up finishing 12th. So Matt, congrats on that to you. So we'll start with you here. Where's Chelsea going to finish in this 2023-2024 season?
So I have a hard time trying to figure out where we're going to finish, especially after last season. And with all of the big names that we've seen, specifically in the Premier League, jump ship to the Saudi League, it's understandable that us, good friend Joe, we don't know who's where anymore, right? There are so many deals flying all over the place. It's so hard to tell. I think for us this year, I don't know. I like 6th. I don't want to keep it the same, but I feel like it's a very respectable and realistic finish for us, with a young team, basically an entire new team of young players coming in, trying to make their case and things like that. New manager, a lot of players gone. I think 6th is realistic. So I'm going to keep it there. And that way we're still at least looking at Europa for the year after.
Yeah, this year is going to be hard to predict for a lot of reasons. And for whatever we've had seasons where we kind of look ahead and we say like, oh my gosh, Man United beefed up their lineup and City beefed up their lineup and Arsenal and Tottenham. Everyone added like these big name players, so we don't know how it's going to shake out. This year was like less of that, and it was more like filling out squads and just kind of more strategic moves. And to your point, Matt, keeping the players that you had and not letting them jump ship to the Saudi league. And so you look around and where people finished and like who got better, and it's all relative, obviously, but I have to believe we'll do better than 12th. The signs show that we'll do better than 12th. But when I look at like, I pulled up the table from last year just to refresh my memory of who all finished above us and whatnot. And I'm putting us at 5th. I think we missed out on top 4. I think our youth and inexperience will lead to some volatility of our results. Games that we feel like we should have won, we lose or draw and drop points in some of those fashions. But I think we take a lot of good building steps. And again, I look at some of the teams that finished ahead of us, and like I look at a Brighton who finished 6th. It's like, I gotta believe we're ahead of them. I gotta believe we're ahead of Fulham. I gotta believe we're ahead of Brentford and Crystal Palace. Like all those teams, I feel like we're going to be passing up, and then it's going to be the dogfight with the guys that we know at the top. So I'm putting us at 5th.
Well, I think we're all in the same ballpark there. I was flip-flopping between 5th and 6th, but I'm gonna have to side with Matt on this one. I think it's 6th, and it's not so much, I'm firmly set on that's where we're going to finish. It's more of that should be the expectation for this year. European football, qualifying for European football for the following year. Anything less is a failure. We need to bounce right back to where we were. Even if it happens to be the Europa League. That being said, there's a chance you can go above that, right? And then it's all gravy at that point. It's playing with house money. So I'm a reluctant 6th, I'll say. But we all kind of talked about teams finishing above us and whatnot, and that actually transitions well into our next category, which is who's your top 4? Who finishes in the Champions League spots this season? Parker, we'll start with you this time.
Yeah, I'll kick it off. I think City's getting relegated this year, so write that down so they're not even close.
It's a safe bet.
I'll say Man City. I'll say Newcastle. I'm gonna say Tottenham and Arsenal.
Okay.
That's where I'm going.
Huh.
I think there's going to be a bit of a switch up. I don't think Liverpool makes it. And so I think Liverpool falls out of that. And I don't trust United. I do think it's going to be, I don't think Arsenal's going to be able to challenge. I think they're going to take steps backwards. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone can give City a run for their money. But yeah, that's where I'm going.
Collins, go ahead.
I think City is the consensus winner unless Matt pulls a wild card here. So yeah, I'm gonna go City. I do trust Manchester United. I think Eric Ten Hag is a great manager, and I think having a year under the belt here, and they've already got some silverware. But they're going to be probably your second place finisher. Arsenal, I think, drops off a little bit, and I think part of that is Kai Havertz's fault. I think they see a drop in goals out of that number 10 spot or whatever position they end up playing him in. And then finally, I'm going to go wild card here. Aston Villa has had a phenomenal under the radar offseason here. I love Pau Torres. I think he solidifies that defense. They made a couple other key signings, and they were already looking good towards the end of last year. And then you add Unai Emery now having a full preseason with him as well. I think Villa is your 4th place finisher.
All right. We'll keep it a clean sweep with City up top. I do. I was thinking about Aston Villa in the top 4. for all the reasons you stated, they have been very under the radar, and they have looked, at least in one of the preseason games that I watched, they looked sneaky good and dangerous. I think that was their shootout with Brentford, which 3-3 or whatever it ended up being. But give me Villa in the top 4. Give me I'm gonna go Newcastle. And really, this last one is just a matter of who I hate the least between Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, which, trust me, is a very tough decision. I'm going to go with United in 4th.
Matt going two non-traditional top 6 clubs in the top 4. I like it. Well, I mean, at least we can all agree on City. I think we've got a Bayern Munich era kind of thing happening in the Premier League. We'll see if there was 3,724 violations of FFP. We'll see if that eventually gets charged against them.
You'll know because Pep will leave, and then they'll get hit with it. So that'll be your telltale.
Exactly. So I think all the teams we mentioned have got a shot at the top 4. I don't know. Chelsea could sneak in there. I think there's a chance. But let's turn to the individual performances here. Before we get into Player of the Year, this next category doesn't always align with Player of the Year. We'll just leave that little disclaimer there. So the next one is going to be the top scorer from this year, or for this upcoming year, and the number of goals they score. And let's see, I'm the only one not to start yet. So I'm going to go with the safe, easy choice. I think it's Nico Jackson. I have loved everything that he's done in preseason so far. I don't think he's a 20-goal scorer. I don't think we have that in us at this point. But in the Premier League, I could see him scoring 14 goals.
Are we doing Premier League only or all comps?
Oh, shoot. I didn't even think about FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Yeah, well, let's do all comps. I'll go 16.
Parker?
I figured Collins was going there. I think Matt might too. I wanted to be different. But it's a realistic pick. I'm going Christopher Nkunku. I think he's going to get on the end of a lot, and I think he's going to be involved with a lot of the creative that happens in the middle of the pitch. And we've seen him, put a few home in preseason. So, I think, Collins, I think you said it best last week. He is what we thought he would be for us. And he is, the player that we thought we were getting when we signed him. So, I was laughing with you guys earlier, though. It's like if Reece James takes penalties, he's got a shot to kind of challenge for that spot, because penalties are included in that. But I think Nkunku puts in 22 all comps.
That'd be well worth the investment. I would. Oh man, in a heartbeat, Bully deserves a statue if that happens.
Figure once every 2 games for in the league, and then a couple in the other comps. So it's a lofty goal. We haven't had a 20-goal scorer in a bit, but I think as a team we're going to score more goals. I just think that they're going to be pretty spread around. So I'm not sure exactly who that's going to be, but hope it's him.
Now I'm waiting for Matt to say Dusan Vlahovic.
Thought about it. No, I am going to go way outside the box.
Jorginho.
No.
Lewis Hall.
If it was just FA Cup only, Lewis Hall was 17. But I am going to go to that position. I'm going to take Benny Chills we've seen what the man can do for like a third of the season. That left foot is lethal. And Parker, to your point, I think there are going to be a lot of goals scored, but I think it's going to come from all over. I remember that tear that he was on, was it 2 years ago? Or was it last year? Like early in the season, he had like 8 goals in 5 games or something like that. It was something ridiculous.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago because it was him and Reese going back and forth.
Yeah.
And
Like
that's when we had, is this sustainable?
Yep. Like, but the thing is, he can score. That's the thing. So I'm gonna go with Chills with 13.
And you know what? Go ahead, Parks.
I was just gonna say another player that I kind of forgot about, but could sneaky put in a lot of goals is kind of Gallagher.
I didn't even think about Gallagher. My second on my list was gonna be Mudryk, but I guess it depends on how frequently he's starting. Yeah,
And
but
I think you have to focus on the left side of the pitch, right? We haven't seen much happen on the right side, and that kind of led me to, okay, Chills is usually playing up a little bit higher, and we know what he can do, and that's where we're most dangerous, is on that left side of the pitch.
And I think you guys are right. I think a lot of goals are going to be coming from a lot of different places this year. You know, how long we've been talking about, oh man, when's the last time we had somebody who could shoot in the midfield? You know, now you got Gallagher. We haven't seen Andre Santos with Chelsea pull the trigger yet, but we've seen him for Brazil, you know, launching. What do you have? 6 goals in the U20?
Yeah, in 7 games.
Yeah. Cesare Cassette, if he ends up staying with the team, we've seen that he can bomb from the midfield. So yeah, I think we're going to be seeing it from all over. So the smooth transition there, Parker. I have a feeling with that 22 goals, I think I know who your player of the season might be. But let's go to that real quick.
Do we want to do assists as well? I just didn't make your list, Collins, but do we want to do assist leader?
Yeah. Let's do assist leader. Start us off.
Reece James. Balls from that flank, put it in the box. I think a lot of people are getting on it. And if we're putting out predictions, I think he has 14 assists.
I'm sticking with my guns. I'm sticking with Chills because
Goals and assists.
Yeah, he does take most of the corners on that side of the pitch anyways. We've seen him take free kicks, or at least be in the mix to take free kicks as well. I'm going to put him at 11 assists.
24 goal contributions in probably 45 games out of the left back. Okay. If he's not your player of the season, I'm going to question you a little bit. I went with Nico Jackson, easy pick at that score. I'm going to take the easy pick here and go Enzo Fernandez. You just watch the comp video of all of his dime passes last year, and he could have had 20 assists if we had competent goal scorers. I think he's going to feast this year, so I'm gonna go Enzo with 12. All right, now we'll turn to player of the year, and Matt, we'll start off with you, Mr. Benny Chills. Who you going?
Thiago Silva.
Cucurella.
I'm going to go with Thiago Silva for a couple of reasons. A, he's Mr. Man of the Match on our poll, so there's no reason to go against him. And he's dealing with a young back line. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be his contributions on the pitch as much as it's going to be the stuff that he's doing off the pitch to help develop the young center backs that we do have. I think that's where you're really going to see his impact. I expect to see our young center backs grow and mature throughout the season. And I think that's going to be in large part to Thiago Silva. So I'm looking at him more for his off the field contributions, and we know what he can do on the field.
I think Thiago Silva on paper is a great choice for this, but at the same time, I think, like you said, there's gonna be a lot of off the field stuff. I think he's gonna be slowly transitioned out, and this is final year, especially with Axel Desai coming in. Benoit's gonna be back in a month or two. I haven't seen what's going on with Trev. That his sale seems to have died down a little bit. So I think we have a number of center backs who are going to step in, and I think you're going to see Silva in the big games, and that might be about it. Man, player of the season. We talked about a lot of goals from a lot of different places, a lot of assists probably coming from a lot of different places. It's going to be tough. I might have to steal Matt's and go Benny Chills. I think he's going to have an important season. He may well even come out of this as captain. I'm not sure. But for now, Ben Chilwell is my prediction for player of the season.
I know his name is being talked about for captain. I think Reese will take it, but Ben is captain material, right? He's got that persona. He wants to lead. He's vocal. He's demonstrates it, right? He's not just all talk. So I like that pick. And this is a very high Benny Chills episode. I love it. I'm just happy that we all have someone different, though. That I was worried, Collins, you're going to take my guy here. So I'm going Enzo. Matt, you said Mr. Man of the Match poll. Since we signed Enzo, he was consistently in that discussion, making almost every poll, winning many of our polls, albeit not in a great season, but he was able to shine when, our team wasn't doing great. I think he'll be the glue for a lot of the season and make our team tick in a lot of ways, providing assists, providing leadership, providing defense, organization in the middle of the pitch. I think is going to be a big deal for us, especially with the formation that I think we'll be running. More players in the mid, not necessarily on the wing backs like we've had it. So I think he's going to be that calming presence that we need. He'll be outlets when we need it, and he'll be able to turn like defense and offense pretty quick. And so I think might not be always in the stats, but I think he'll be consistently in that man of the match discussion week in and week out.
Yeah, I do like that we had three different players there. Parker, you're right. I was going to go Enzo. I figured I can only show him so much love on this pod. So I appreciate you picking up the slack there. So I like that. Thiago Silva, Benny Chills, and Enzo Fernandez as potential players of the year. But with a very young squad, I think there's going to be a lot of nominees for this next category, and that's young player of the year. Doesn't necessarily have to be newcomer. We'll do that one in a minute. We'll go player 20. We have a lot of U23s. Let's go U21. Best U21 player on the squad for this upcoming season.
Hold on, I gotta see if my guy's 21.
All right, well, I'll start us off here because this is my area of expertise here. This is my favorite part of this team, and it's a guy that I've been writing home about for a while now. Not Cassette, Andre Santos. Starter in the midfield, put him next to Enzo. Starts 37 out of 38 games. And just balls out as a number 6. So, Andre Santos.
Write that down.
Yeah. We can clip that. 37 out of 38. I like the confidence, Collins. I really do. I can't hate that. I'm still sticking with my guy, Benny. No, I'm just kidding. You guys know I want to take Lewis Hall, right? But
Crystal Palace is Lewis Hall.
Yeah, I know. I think for me, it would be Ian Madsen. I can see him playing a good role in this team. not expecting the world of him, but visibly seeing the contributions. I expect that's going to happen a lot with him when he gets his opportunities. So I think he's in a good position to take that award.
I like that pick. I hope so. There's so many like picks that I hope break out. I hope Andre Santos breaks out, and I hope Ian Matson does too. A guy that's been on the team a bit longer. We saw a little bit of him last year, and we saw what he could do. But Carney Chukwuemeka, I think, has a breakout year. I think he's not going to play in 37 out of 38 Premier League games. I'm realistic. I think he's going to feature in like that 14-ish games, and most of those as subs. But I think he's gonna come on and make some impact. He's going to be able to carry the ball, run with the ball at his feet, make plays, make assists, score goals. I think he's going to find himself in space. So I think he's got a really decent chance to impact it. He's my RLC 2.0, and from what I've seen, he can. He's 19 years old, and he's got all the same skills. He's got that stature. He's tall, and he can still be physical with people. And so, as we learned in preseason, our corner kicks can get past the first man, which is really important. I think he can get on the end of some of those, and see what happens.
Funny Chukwuemeka story. At the game on Wednesday, Aiden had to go to the bathroom in like the 20th minute, so I'd take him out in the concourse, and we were walking to the bathroom, and this guy wearing a Vinicius Real Madrid jersey next to a guy wearing a Gavi Barcelona jersey comes up to me, like runs up in front of me as we're walking, goes, dude, you have the coolest jersey out of anybody here right now. And I was wearing my Chukwuemeka jersey. So big ups to Carney there. But I think an honorable mention that I don't know, I personally forgot about. I don't know if you guys did, but under 21, I haven't seen them at all this preseason because of injury, but Noni Madueke. If he balls out like the way he did at the end of last season, he might be a serious contender in this too.
Yeah, the other person I was thinking of, Collins, I just don't know when he's coming back from injury, is Armando Broja. So it's someone who, if we get him back for the majority of the season, could lead in goals for our team. And we forget about him because he went down with a pretty serious injury, but we were very, very hyped about his season last year that got cut way too short. So if he comes back, he's got the build and the mentality to make that happen too.
Another solid option there. All right, well, let's go with our next category, which is newcomer of the year. So someone signed this summer, or someone breaking into the first team for the first time this year. So I'm talking about academy developmental players. If they've already featured for Chelsea officially, they can't be eligible for this award. So let's go newcomer of the year. Anybody have any jumping out?
Levi Colwell.
I like that,
especially with injuries back there. I think he'll feature at least in the first part, so in a good way. So I think he'll play a good impact.
I'm gonna go with one of the two obvious options. I'm gonna say Nkunku. I think he's gonna be special for this team. And if you can, we talk about all the possibilities, right, of this team, especially in the midfield and going forward. It's going to be a matter of finding the right pieces. I think if you could find a combination of Jackson, Nkunku, Mudryk, if you can get all three of them up top and have Noni, you throw Matson, if you can get everybody out there just flowing, kind of, pick and choose who you want. I love that, but I think Nkunku is going to be the piece that kind of fits everybody together.
I like both those picks. Those are solid, but I feel like I need to break out of the mold here. I can't give one of you guys the edge over the other. So Matt, I'm gonna take the other obvious pick, and that's gonna be Nico Jackson. I already had him as my top scorer. I think he brings a breath of fresh air with him, as does Pochettino. But I think Jackson is going to be something scary in the Premier League this year. So he's gonna be my top newcomer. All right. Well, boys, those are all of our positive awards. We've got 2 negatives. And all these other ones, are easily trackable. Ones that we can either, go off of what the official Chelsea awards are at the end of the year. We can measure top 4, things like that. But this one is going to be based on our polls this year. The winner of this next award will be based on our end of match polls. So, who is going to be the season's man of the get the fuck out of here?
Start us off, Collins.
Well, on the all-time list, Vladimir Putin is currently number 1. I'm not sure he can hold that spot, though. Yeah.
Don't tempt him. Don't tempt him.
Kim Jong-un. All right. In the new intro, I talked about Mark Cucurella coming in to be a starter. On this episode, I think Mark Cucurella is going to be our season's man to get the fuck out of here. So I don't know where to go from there.
You kind of stole my thunder there, but luckily I do have a backup. You guys know from the group chat my thoughts on this individual. I said it multiple times during the Dortmund game and even other games in the preseason. Raheem Sterling. I don't think he's gonna play, but everything I see out of him is just bad. For me, it's got to be Raz.
Those are the 2 obvious picks. I won't go referees or injuries or something like that, which usually makes its way onto our polls. Raz is my pick, and the way I differentiated Cucurella and Raheem Sterling is, I think Cucurella is going to get benched, and I think Raheem Sterling's going to keep playing, unfortunately, and not contributing for whatever reason. I think he's just more decorated long term or whatever, but I just think he'll get in. He'll have more minutes than Mark will. So, and I think they're both bad, both of them, and it's kind of glaring. And that's, sorry for the tangent here, but it's becoming quite glaring because Raz didn't look that bad last year, but that's because everyone was kind of bad around him. We were bad. We were 12th, right? Like we didn't have a good season. So Raz didn't look so bad. Cucurella didn't look so bad. But now these guys stick out like sore thumbs when our team has taken a step up and they're still where they are. It's kind of glaring. So the Project Deadwood was nearly complete. I think we were 2.5 people away from officially clearing house, not including Rom. But Raz is my player of like, get the fuck out of here. I don't want to see him feature for Chelsea. I've seen enough. He's had plenty of opportunity, and in a very positive preseason, him and Cucurella were both pretty negative spots.
Yeah, Parker, like you said, I think those are the 2 obvious candidates. I think it's a coin toss, and I can absolutely see. I think Sterling will play a significant amount this season, whereas Cucurella may not, especially with Ian Maatsen coming into the squad. So you guys may have taken that category. So this last category is one that's going to be hard for us to evaluate at the end of the season, but I think it's a fun one to pick. And I'm going to call it the Mason George Averts Award. And that's going to be the player who divides Chelsea Twitter or Chelsea social media the most. A lot of pro, a lot of anti Mason Mount, a lot of pro, a lot of anti Jorginho. Same with Kai Havertz. A lot of fans seemingly jumping ship to Arsenal to follow Jorginho or Havertz, or to United to follow Mason Mount. And good, fuck you, right? Same with U.S. men's national team Twitter following Pulisic out of here. Oh, that has been a breath of fresh air. But I've started to see some divides already. And I think I have some nominees here. So let me present those to you guys. If you guys have something outside of that, absolutely chime in. Ben Chilwell already taken shots, surprisingly. Robert Sanchez, who we just signed today, already taking shots. And then I think Pochettino will be the last one, just because of his Spursiness. I think he's shaken it off. Me personally, I think he's a breath of fresh air, but I think some people won't forgive him for that. I'm sure there are others. So who do you guys got?
Funny, you didn't take either of my two picks that I was kind of wrestling between. I'm gonna go. I want to see if one of you guys takes one of mine. So I'll take the other one if that's the case. So I'll defer.
I'll go with a non-nominee, a man who has already split Chelsea fandom since he's been with the team. Give me Kepa.
Yes.
Good Kepa, bad Kepa, meh Kepa.
Sorry, Kepa.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I understand you have good games, you have bad games, right? He's human. We're all human, but this Jekyll and Hyde can get really bad. I think we've seen better out of him, comparatively speaking, over his Chelsea career. We've seen better out of him, but we also see those glimmers of like, what the fuck are you doing? Followed up by a, yes, you deserve all that money that we paid for you. I think he's still going to continue to split the Chelsea fan base, but I think it's going to be more positive than negative this year.
Yeah, and I think some people are just going to hate Kepa forever, just because of those couple years. Especially the whole FA Cup incident with Maurizio Sarri pissed a lot of people off. But I agree. I think we've seen a lot more positives out of Kepa over the last year or so. So he's not up there for me. I think that will eventually die down once people, realize that maybe he wasn't the issue. It was a shitty defense that was the issue. I'm going to go off the board actually as well. And I'm going to go with whoever our deadline day signing is, whether that, and I have it narrowed down to two: Tyler Adams, who were rumored that we're going to trigger his release clause, because then you got the whole U.S. fan base coming back, and that's going to piss a lot of people off, especially if he's an alternative to Caicedo. That's going to piss a lot of people off as well. And Dusan Vlahovic. People are already divided. Oh, he's too injury prone. Oh, look at his goal scoring record in Italy. Oh, yeah, but he he just looks like a lazy player. So I'm going to go with our last signing of the summer.
Matt, I was wrestling between Kepa and this player. And this one you guys might find a little bit unique, but I have a feeling if he doesn't meet his potential, that there's going to be a lot of divide around him, because he's a raw talent, and it's whether or not he meets that potential. I think that's Mudryk. I mentioned this to you guys last week. I want to be incredibly excited for him, because you see what he can bring to the table. You see his speed, you see his technique. But if he goes 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 games without a goal and an assist, and he's featuring in 70 minutes of those games, there's going to be a lot of smoke around his name. But some people are going to want to wait and hold out on him, and some people are going to want someone else to get a shot in there. I think he has the ability to divide. And I think his price tag divided people a little bit of, we're paying a lot for someone who's relatively unproven. But anytime you have someone big name, big dollar sign signing that's got the world ahead of him and potential, and he doesn't live up to it, again, I hope I'm wrong. I hope we start to see it, and I hope he does start to prove people wrong. But if we don't, I think he's got the ability to divide a fan base on should we be offloading, should we be playing this guy.
Yeah, and I think the price tag definitely dictates that. That there were already some calls last year of, oh, why is he not even playing? But man, let me just say, watching him in person, he is faster than he looks on TV. Dude is crazy athletic. We talked about last week. He's always in the gym, right? Oh man, I hope that he proves a lot of people wrong this year, but I think that's a solid pick.
Can I throw out an honorable mention? Yeah, you guys are obviously more on the Chelsea Twitter than I am. I think this is one, Collins. I think you and I are more split on this one. But it's a name that we constantly bring up. I want to say Conor Gallagher. I feel like, again, he's kind of Kepa-esque in he can have great games or he can get a red card in the 20th minute. He's the Chelsea Academy and blah, blah, blah. His performances, I think, can split a fan base. And I don't know if they have already, but I could definitely see it. I know that it kind of splits our opinions, just the three of us. So he's another one that I think would be a good candidate for that.
That's a solid choice. And I've already seen a little bit of that. Especially when his name went up as, oh, hey, we'll accept this much for him. There was a lot of, well, why not? He's not Chelsea level. And then there's also, the people who are very pro Cobham or very, just pro Gallagher in general. We're like, well, he's our best midfielder. So yeah, there's that. And I feel like, Matt, you and I will be arguing about him over the course of this season. I'm going to make that prediction right now.
Can't wait.
Galleguinho.
Oh God, I'm so bad.
All right,
just vibes.
Just vibing.
Fuck you both.
All right, well that wraps up our predictions for the 2023-2024 season. Boys, I know we all picked Europa League spots, but I am genuinely excited to get the season going. I'm ready to go out to Highbury, have a couple drinks with the Milwaukee Blues, watch the season commence. Parker, I know you've got a whole new group to go watch games with.
I do, and they sound fun. I haven't been able to get out to a preseason, but the Rocky Mountain Blues, they've been promoting watching games even in the preseason and bring people and show up and sing along. So I'm excited to get down to a new pub and meet a group of new people. And yeah, man, one of my favorite things about this sport, this hobby, following a team in the States that plays over in the UK, is getting to meet people who, cheer for the same club. It's fun. It's unique. And when I've been to games, you end up looking to your left, looking to your right. Some people are homegrown, been to every game, and some people are traveling in from Japan. I sat next to a person who literally flew into the Dortmund Chelsea game from Japan that day. Like it's just amazing, right? You get a whole swath of people that follow the sport. So it's fun to meet new people, fun to get to interact, and it's always fun to watch a game at a pub and have a couple pints.
All right. Well, before we close out this week's episode, we do have to do our 5-a-side draft. Last week we had the States. My wife and son both listened to it, and they said it was the most terrible draft we've ever done.
Appreciate the support.
Matt, they were confused why you were so Southern. Parker, they were confused as to why yours was so boring. and they had no idea what I was doing with mine. So at the end of the day, though, I was the winner of last week's draft with Hawaii in goal, Ohio in defense, California and Illinois in the mid, and Texas as a forward. So, Matt, you once again took last. You'll be drafting first this week. I feel like this is just the running bit at this point. But you know what? Let's. I feel like we've left an easy one on the board, and that's going to be athletes who play other sports. Can be any sport: NFL, NBA, MLB, hockey. Actually, let's leave hockey out. Hockey's a little too similar-ish, at least in terms of goalies. So let's go the other three. You'll start us off. Parker second, me third.
We're talking any sport though, right?
Any sport other than soccer, and again, we're going to leave out hockey.
Currently playing or all time?
All time.
Okay. This is actually kind of funny because I had this conversation with somebody at work a couple weeks ago. She's a big sports fan, and we were doing our top 10 of athletes of all time. So this feeds in very nicely. So I'm going to start out in the midfield with who I consider the best athlete of all time. Give me Bo Jackson.
BoJack Horseman.
Correct.
Cousin.
That's a solid pick.
That's a good
Multi-sport
pick.
athlete.
I'm going with someone who has said he is a soccer fan. I think I think he's a United fan, which kind of sucks. But give me the fastest man on the planet, Usain Bolt, as my striker.
Solid pick. I'm pretty sure he did play forward for some Aussie team for like 3 weeks.
Wasn't it like Melbourne FC or something?
Yes, something like that. Amazing. All right. Well, I'm going to start with a keeper. And it's going to be the guy with the biggest wingspan I've ever seen, the biggest hands I've ever seen. It's going to be Giannis Antetokounmpo in goal. Certainly saves more balls outside the box than Kepa does.
That's a good pick.
Touche. So for my how do I want to play him? All right, I'm gonna go. So for my keeper, I'm also going to take a big man from the NBA. I will take Shaquille O'Neal. I'll take Orlando Magic, Shaquille O'Neal. Because I want the athletic one, not just the big one.
Shacked us. Nice. I'm taking a defender. You're already right on, Collins. I think he's arguably one of the best defenders in the NFL. Give me Ed Reed.
Just laying a smackdown in defense.
You know, he's fast and he can hit. He can be physical. So give me Ed Reed.
All right. That's, oh man. Now you got me thinking. If you want, I'm going to go midfield, and I'm going to go with, typically I go with the creative type and then a bruiser. I'm going to pick my bruiser first. That's going to be Mike Allstott, former Tampa Bay Bucks fullback.
Yes, sir.
Give me all his pads too.
I love it. Wow. All right. Oh, I have two for defense. All right. Similar to Ed Reed, former teammates. I need just an absolute unit as my defender. He allegedly killed some people. Give me Ray Lewis.
I was on the fence about Ray. It was Ed or Ray. Those were same wavelength.
Fuck, I really thought he would drop me with my next pick. Oh, I'm disappointed. Solid pick, Matt.
And Matt, I think it was multiple people, but that's besides the point.
Allegedly.
You know, I'm gonna pick a midfielder. And I'm leaning and I'm gravitating as I'm thinking about this to people who I know have somewhat like soccer backgrounds, you know, who have also either come from Europe or have European backgrounds and that I know had some exposure to the game. I remember Steve Nash talking about the fact that he saw the game as a point guard differently because he was kind of thinking 2 plays ahead from soccer. And that's what made him a great point guard in the NBA. So Steve Nash, he's got that stature that I think would actually make a really good midfielder. So I'm picking Steve.
Damn, that was gonna be my next pick. Well done. Well, sticking with the same train of thought there, NBA players who have a little bit of footy experience and grew up in other cultures. Maybe somebody who grew up in Italy, lethal scorer. My striker is Kobe Bryant.
And that was my next pick. So there you go.
So for my midfielder to pair up with Bo Jackson, I need arguably one of the best two-way players in any sport. Give me Michael Jordan.
I like it. Again, someone who I think did an MLS tryout when he was done playing wide receiver was Terrell Owens. Give me Terrell in the mid. You got Steve Nash holding down as that pivot mid, that ball security mid, and then Terrell Owens busting out.
I thought you were going Ocho Cinco there. Terrell Owens is solid. I completely forgot about him.
That's my wide receiver, man. That's my wide receiver, man. That's my wide receiver.
Well, goddamn, talking about quotables. My midfielder, going alongside Mike Allstott. Man, you got a question? Well, he's the answer. Allen Iverson.
All right. I need a sniper. All right. I need a forward. I need a sniper. But I also need a little bit of size. Give me Alexander Ovechkin.
No hockey.
No hockey.
We can't even. I thought it was just off limits for goalies.
No hockey.
Damn you.
I like Ovi though.
I did too. All right. No, I guess I could have taken Ray Lewis if I needed a shooter. Let's see. All right. Just saying. All right, so let's go with my backup, which would be the greatest shooter in the history of the NBA, Steph Curry.
I thought about Curry in my midfield as well. Figured he could be a distributor and score from the mid kind of guy, but I didn't. Goalie. You guys will appreciate this. I don't know if voting Twitter will be able to appreciate this as much as you guys will, but I know you guys will. So that's all I really care about. One of the biggest wingspans in NBA history, Manute Bol.
No, not Bol.
Not Bol Bol. Bol Bol ain't as famous yet, and he's not as proven yet. Give me Manute Bol, that big lanky motherfucker.
I thought you might have been taking George Mirasan.
Oh, man. All right. So Matt took a baseball player with the first overall pick. We haven't touched baseball since. Parker took a track and field athlete. We've done all NBA and NFL since. I feel
Best
like
athletes in the world.
I feel like I got a rep for baseball a little bit here, though. Boy,
We didn't. We left striker midfield, but Shohei Ohtani would have been a fun one.
yeah.
About that.
I was trying to find a way to justify putting him in defense. That doesn't quite work. But you know what? I'm going to go with a guy who I don't know if he's got any ball experience whatsoever, but he's a physical specimen. The most decorated Olympian of all time. I'm going Michael Phelps. All right. Well, that rounds us out here. This may have been one of the tougher drafts, at least for me. But we're gonna close it out. Matt has Shaquille O'Neal, specifically of the Orlando Magic, in goal. Ray Lewis in defense, Bo Jackson and MJ in the mid, and Steph Curry up top. Parker went Manute Bol in goal, Ed Reed in defense, Steve Nash and T.O. in the mid, and Usain Bolt as a forward. I went Giannis Antetokounmpo in goal, Michael Phelps in defense, Mike Allstott and Allen Iverson in the mid, and Kobe Bryant as a forward. As always, please vote. Let us know who did the best in this week's five-a-side draft of players who do not play soccer. You can check that out on Twitter. On X. On Ecstasy at Flag Down Pod. Boys, that wraps us up. Episode 1 of season number 1, 2, 3. Can't believe we're on a third season, but any closing thoughts for the evening?
That time is here. We've been surviving the summer the best we can. It's that time. Got to gear up, boys.
Looking back a year ago, we were clearly more optimistic about last season coming into it. You can tell we're a bit defeated with how we finished last year, but there is still that optimism in the air. There is still, we are Chelsea, and Pochettino has said, we won the summer league. Who cares? We play Liverpool. We have to win. We have to win now, and that's how we feel. And we've said it before. We'll say it again. Having hope is both amazing and dangerous all at the same time. But that's what's fun about this club. That's what's fun about supporting Chelsea, is you should always have that hope to compete for the league and to put together a good season. So we have it. And until we don't, I'm going to be excited.
All right. Well, make sure to follow us on any social media, including X, by just searching at Flag Down Pod. If you listen to the podcast, we haven't been live in a while, but if you listen to the audio version, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review. So, boys, Parker, I like what you said there. Let's cheers to having hope.